Well, I have it up.
Do you need a paper copy?
No, I have a copy. Orange.
All right. So I guess who had the first
I did.
few? Did you notice anything that was out of the ordinary on it?
So a couple things, well, pretty basic. Number one, there's 2 typos. Decrease is spelled wrong for answer A and C. It's spelled decrease,
Okay.
so might want to fix that.
Okay.
And, you know, for number one, does anybody see how the 2 figures even help them answer the question?
No.
No.
That threw me off a little bit because, right, there's nothing even about a book in those 2 figures.
I know, in her book, Silent Spring, she describes the adverse effects of the environment due to the use of pesticides.
Yeah, because then there's not even anything, I mean, unless it could just maybe, I don't know, unless it says answering questions part A and part B. Is that, wait, this might just be, did you look out online, this might be just that.
Yeah, I looked at it.
They use it for, no, they don't. The 3 part A and part B comes from the figure, from juvenile and adult fish. So yeah, I'll make a note of that and I'll,
Yeah, it's just like a
I
disconnect.
mean, it's there, but, and it gives good information, but you don't, I don't know where this book thing came from, Silent Spring.
Right.
okay. All right, anything else on the ones you had?
I kind of wanted to go, if y'all would look at number 4, just because I'm kind of unsure. When I went through and I, just answered the question without looking at the answer first, I felt like number 4, which talks about, that's a study about the relationship between fish and the temperature of water. So the question is, what improvements could be made to this research data to increase its validity? Select 2 that apply. So they're saying B and C, but C, I mean, maybe y'all could just explain this to me. C is conduct experiment in the same environment. To me, I mean, I guess unless you're testing again to keep seeing if it should be valid, but what about conducting experiment in the winter months?
The purpose of the study was to study the relationship between water temp.
Or I guess if you're trying to do validity, I guess you should test it again in cold water.
Yeah,
Okay,
you should
gotcha.
test in the same
Yeah,
amount of water.
same
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Gotcha.
that's gonna be one of your controls in this experiment.
Yeah.
Okay, so validity is kind of the key word here.
Yeah, so like I say, you just have to make sure the kids understand what a control is.
Okay,
Okay?
Yeah, that's one of the things I had on things to review before the test, maybe during warm-ups, because there's some terminology in some of the ones that I went through, and one of them was making sure you review scientific method and dependent and independent
Right.
variables and controls.
definitely.
And I think that's a good idea to do that whenever we talk about different things, especially when we start talking about what we're going into next and how we test all that. Okay. Anything else for yours?
Nope, that was it.
When did you have one to?
She had 1 through 6, I think.
Okay.
Okay, Noelle, you up next. Did you find anything in yours?
No. Hold on. For number 7, at first,
Diagram small.
and I guess.
But I think they're gonna be able to see it a little bit better.
Oh, right, 'cause they can
actually
zoom in.
click on it.
They
Yeah.
can
Right,
enlarge it.
Yeah.
I forget that.
Again,
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, is that what you're about to say?
at the
Because
risk
I
of
should-
sounding like a broken record, a ribosome, the definition is that, is that
Right.
right? So, I mean, I don't, yes.
We get a better look at it.
So you're saying that the graph doesn't match?
I mean,
the-
you just don't even need that because a ribosome is where protein synthesis occurs, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Right, because
So-
when I send this, I want to be sure, because we don't want any problems like we had on quarter 2.
I mean, a better question might have been using this visual and asking, leaving something blank, like labeling it and saying
Yes.
at what,
Yes.
not even using protein maybe, what level would I don't know, but I hate having the same argument, but I just
Yeah.
don't.
Okay, so I'll put this in part of the feedback. Any other ones, Noel?
Again, and y'all, maybe I'm missing something, but part B, like,
For what number?
okay, sorry, 8 and 9.
8, 9.
Okay.
Is a part B supposed to build upon from A? Right? Isn't that typically like A, B? But again, it's,
No, I think.
maybe I'm not understanding
I'm
that.
looking at number 9, and number 9 to me just looks like a basic definition.
It is, but I guess my question is about whenever you have part A and part B, is that a building question or no, it doesn't have to be like?
I guess it doesn't have to be.
Okay, that was my
I don't think so, no, I
Okay,
don't think so.
then no, I have
So you
no,
don't
I have
have
no
no questions?
questions. No, that's it.
All right, Vicki, on
All
to
right,
you.
I had 13 to 18. So 13, I thought it was good because all of the answers that are in the article, so they should be able to get everything from that article. Number 13.
Okay.
Number 14, I think the flow chart is a little confusing. However, they can still answer the question without it. I mean, without completely understanding it.
Do you have a specific thing that might be a little confusing on
Here,
it?
let me pull it up.
Just so, because, I might want to, make some notes about exactly what is confusing about it, before I,
There, like the one that I used for the tomato plant, the flow chart went down. And it was, to me, it was easier to understand. It's the way they
Okay.
have the non-resistant plant on one side, I don't know.
okay.
Let me pull it up.
So you think it should be more of like this is more like a circular flow, it looks like.
Look at the arrows.
Yeah, the arrows are a little bit confusing. Because like the red, I can't really tell which way they're pointing, but I'm not looking at it on the.
But I did look at it on, I did look at it online, that's how I got this, my notes.
Okay. It's 14. See, it's probably better if you just preview it, because if you look at it that way, it really gives you a better idea,
Really.
yeah, of what they can see, but.
Because I see, I mean, I like this, where the variety is susceptible to the pest, and then you end up with the improved variety.
Yeah.
But, I don't understand why they did the gene gun over here.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll make it might be a little confusing, but can they answer the question?
They
I
can
guess?
answer the question,
Okay.
because the question is explain how an insect-resistant strawberry plant could be both an economical advantage or disadvantage. Use the model and the passage. Well,
Okay.
everything they need to know is in the passage,
Okay,
so they can definitely answer it.
all right, next.
15, Part A of Willowbird, no problem, should be able to ID the dependent variable, as long as you make sure you just go over like dependent, independent
Right.
variable and all that. So they shouldn't have any problems
I'll
with
do
that.
that in a warm up, that's a good idea.
Number 16.
All right, the scientists conducted this experiment, claimed that
Ah.
increasing the tail length did not improve their social behavior. Choose the evidence that opposes this claim.
I-
What do they have as the answer?
The answer is B, the elongated tails average nest building increased. All right, so they're saying the scientists are saying that their claim is that increasing the tail length did not improve their social behavior, so they didn't make more nests. Choose the evidence that goes against this claim. And when you look at it, the elongated tail, I mean, it's true, the elongated tail's nest didn't really increase. The long, okay, all right, the unmanipulated tail's average nest building increase, is that true? No. Oh yeah, no, it's not true. Right? Let's go back. Let's look at each answer. The unmanipulated tail's average. The unmanipulated tail, the one they didn't fool with, nest building increased. And so here, this is the unmanipulated before,
I know,
this
I
is
don't
the
understand that.
unmanipulated after.
So it decreased.
Why would it decrease?
Huh. That's interesting.
That's interesting.
So the shorter tail's average nest building increased. So the shorter tail decreased.
Decreased. Decreased.
Yeah, I don't even know how they cut and
Right?
repasted a tail. I don't know what that means, but
Right? No. Scary. It's like it's on a computer.
so their claim was that the longer the tail, the more
More
nest. And we're looking for the ones that claim that goes against that. So B is the answer, because that, I mean, it does go against it because it says the elongated tail's nest building increased, and it did not increase, right?
Were there any of the
I mean,
other
according to
answers?
the chart, it did increase. The
Where?
elongated tail, look, you look at the first before treatment
Okay.
and then after treatment, right?
Oh yeah, it did.
It
Oh, yeah, it
did.
did increase. Oh, you're right.
Not by a lot at all. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
okay. All
So,
right. So, with that said,
that is
then,
true.
does that actually oppose
Kids.
their claim?
I wonder if the words,
I don't know about
okay,
this question.
what I'll do is I will just give me your notes on that, and maybe I can
Okay, what are
send
we talking
the
about?
notes that
Social
you
media,
have,
is this just
have
the-
on it to her.
I mean, and to me, that's not even enough to even count. I'm just saying if you're getting into like specific,
Right.
The
but
longer
it's
the
really not a
tail,
lot.
the
at all.
more nest. B does not oppose
No,
that.
because it shows it increased on the chart. You're right, it does.
So 16's not, the answer is not B.
So I'm gonna,
16, yeah, we need some clarification. If the answer's B, please tell us why.
Right.
Like,
okay,
Just don't
I'm writing it down. Vicky Passman says, tell us why.
Vicky Passman, we're always like, Vicky Passman said this does not make sense.
Okay.
We're so confused.
All right, any more? on
17,
This question stresses me.
I know.
Because
17 is
it's not a
good.
good difference.
It's just not a good question, I don't think.
those? And 18.
See, 17 contradicts 16.
Based on the findings.
Based on the findings, scientists would correctly conclude that male widow birds with longer tails will have an advantage in mating.
Yes, it totally contradicts 16.
It
Yes.
does. I'll put that down, contradict
All right.
16. Vicky Passman said.
Said. All right. And 18, the one on,
Well, let me ask you this. Wait, before we move on, let me ask you this question. What if they said choose the evidence that supports this claim? Would then it be correct?
yes.
Okay. So I might put as a recommendation,
Then it would be correct because the longer tail,
go back to 16 and look. If they change it to supports the claim, would that make it a
Shorter
correct
tails,
answer?
yes. Did the shorter tail nest building increase?
Is there any way to change the graph? Because I mean,
Just change
it's
the
like
data.
off by like, I don't know.
Well, if it had all been on one bar
Okay,
graph,
no,
then there
you're,
would have been before and after, but
that's true. Oh, no, it's totally, because if this is nests, that's 1.5 nests, 2 nests, so there really isn't a change, is there? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah, the mean
Yeah.
number of nests per male.
Okay, so I will
Do you
definitely.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do see.
So now, really, none of it is,
Yes. Okay, so I'm just gonna put need clarification of answer. Answer
Vicky
doesn't
has
oppose
it as
recommendation
confused.
and that 17 contradicts 16. Maybe look at the word oppose. How about that?
Yes, that's good.
Okay.
All right, then number 18, they had to use a pedigree chart to answer the questions on cystic fibrosis. And part A, I think the answers, I mean, it's a good question, but again, we need to make sure that we're going over terminology. That because they learned that gametes are sex cells last year, but they might
A
not.
lot of them
Right.
don't really, when I say it, they're like, wait, what's that again?
Yeah,
So
same
I think we
here.
need to go back over some terminology
So when you're
on
looking
that,
at
yeah.
stomatic versus body versus TIM, because it doesn't say sex cells,
Right.
They call it
might-
gametes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, the
And
next
that's it for
ones
mine.
were mine. And I really did not have a problem with any of them, except I want y'all to look at number 21. And you're gonna have to look at the chart, and I'll need, this is another one that, okay, so tell me, without looking at, 21, it says, which of the second generation
Okay.
is least likely to have children affected by cystic fibrosis? The answer is Y. Where is Y?
Right. It's in the third generation.
Yes. I'm thinking that they may have wanted to put V
V.
there,
Yeah.
and they put Y on accident.
Yeah.
So, because it is in the third generation.
And the answer
so,
is V, so just.
So they would not get that right. And if you look at U, and if you look at U and W, I mean, U would really have the least likely of those two, but they both have a high chance of passing it on to their children. So that's what kind of
Yeah,
threw me
I mean,
off.
V, neither the male nor the female has
yeah,
or carries
nor has
the
Right.
gene.
children.
Right. And then,
I mean,
so I'm gonna put on that one, should the answer, when I give the feedback, I'm gonna put should the answer be V.
Yes.
And make,
Did you
okay.
accidentally?
Vicky Bassman.
Yeah,
Vicky
it's
Passman
accident. All right, so the next one, I read the thing on the dead zones, and I looked at the figures, and I had a little bit of trouble at first with 22, because it wanted you to read farmer to shrimper, and then figure 1 impact on crops, and which of the following, but it does say it, but it also talks about corn that thrives in average CO2 levels. But if you go back to the chart only talks about weather, which includes both temperature extremes and droughts. So that's where they would get A and B from on that one. So we need to make sure that, you know. And then I didn't see any on the other ones. All of the answers could be obtained from the last one, 25, is a little bit tough. So I wanted y'all to look at that one and see if you could figure out how to get that answer. It's there, but it's kind of tricky. Yeah. It is kind of tricky. And if you don't have the answer to this one is A. I just want to see if y'all can see how they got it. You're using just figures 2 and 3. But it says 2 to 3, but I really wish they could change that, but
To what?
to
Just
2
say
and
2.
3, yeah. Because I was looking for figure 2
Yeah, 2-3. Okay.
But the kids, you know, they might get that. You see it, it's over here. Yeah. Yeah, it's all the same thing.
All right, so the question is, which basin should be monitored most closely to prevent an increase in the dead zone?
Here we go. it shows you the different colors and what they are on there. I mean, do y'all see how they got that answer?
Average nitrogen yield.
It's a little tricky.
It is. It's very tricky. And if I'm looking at the chart, the Ohio River Basin is an option, and I mean,
That's the one I would pick.
it could, yeah, I thought when I took it, that's the one I picked. It just, so I might put another one, clarification on answer. Cause I feel like it's real tricky.
So the Missouri is less than 200? Or is it 200 to 500 kilograms per square kilometer?
It depends on where you look, cause I think it goes to different, see how it goes to
All right,
different, it goes
so-
from here.
I know, but that's what I'm trying to figure out, is it increasing as it's moving down toward, because the dead zone's right here.
Yeah,
So is it increasing as it's moving toward the Gulf?
okay.
Wouldn't that be what you would watch?
Yes.
See, like this doesn't seem to be increasing as you're moving down toward the Gulf.
What did it say?
What about Ohio?
So the
Is it
question
what
was-
it
so
seems
the-
Okay,
to-
yeah.
It decreases that
Plant
place,
or
doesn't
animal
it?
would need to have a special adaptation that enabled it to, his
Yeah.
answers, to survive in an oxygen depleted environment.
Increases.
Okay,
Increases
so
right
what,
here.
like, if you have a lot of nitrogen, do you not have that?
No, eutrophication is when you have a buildup of algae and stuff on top of the water,
Okay,
and it builds up so much oxygen you can't get through.
gotcha,
To the bottom.
gotcha.
And that's what forms the dead zone. Speaking of that, I sent it to Rebecca to look at. I found something that I thought was good.
I printed it out, but I think it's in my room. Right, I will make these recommendations, and if they can fix that by the time we take it, that'd be good.
Do we have a date for the?
Not yet, because we gotta get through the next, we gotta get through what we're doing next first.
Right,
Because
right.
it's on the test. Is there anything, Rhoda, that you see you haven't covered?
No, just that stuff, just like the stuff that towards the end.
Eutrophication, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm like y'all, I had to look up eutrophication.
Yeah,
I didn't know
I'm
what
like,
yeah, I
it
didn't
was. I
know.
know what it is, I just didn't know how to name. You know,
Well, I found this thing on eutrophication. I found it online, and it talks about
Oh,
the
nice.
dead zone in the Gulf.
Oh, cool.
And I thought it looked pretty good. It's got, it's got a map similar to the one, where
Yeah.
they can look at this map, similar to the one there. Goes through the processes of eutrophication. It goes into the total area of the dead zone. They can click on, because this can be online too, they can click on areas and see all the dead fish and that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'll look.
and then isn't that
I
what
liked it.
Florida suffered earlier this year?
That was red.
Red,
Oh, the-
okay, red tide,
That
okay,
was
it's
red
different.
tide, yeah. So anyway, because I mean,
Well-
I've never taught this, so
Me neither.
I just went looking for something.
And I think it's also maybe when they look at the drainage basin to ask it where it increases and decreases and how would that affect the dead zone, that might help them a little bit better analyze the chart on the benchmark. That might help a little bit. All right, so I guess we need to move on to our task, and we probably need to come up with an exemplary model, like what are we looking for in the writing? Do y'all agree?
Yep.
Disagree?
No.
Have an opinion at all?
No, I agree.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we need to come up with, because I really didn't put one on there, like, because I was trying to hurry up and make it, because I knew we wanted to give it today, but,
Well, I broke down the rubric.
yeah. So we need to kind of come up with, what we want, when we grade it, what is our answer gonna look like? And here we are, reaching, I'm stealing Vicky's paper again.
All right, so
Like I do every day.
it's worth 6 points, right? Two,
Yeah.
5, 6. All right,
Yeah.
So this is what I got. Okay. So a point for being able to identify GMOs, or what, say? The type of genetic engineering.
which is CRISPR in this case. It's the CRISPR thing. That's what the article specifically mentions.
A point for identifying the problem with the ground cherry.
Which
Just grab some kind of problems.
was, isn't it, wasn't one of the problems, that it was small, the shape was
It's
small?
small, it's I don't think it was resistant to.
Yeah, it was small and it wasn't resistant to,
It's all in
yeah, it's all in there. I forget. Yeah, see, they were little, and there's, oh, and would it be produced more quickly? Is that
there. Well, I
it?
mean, that,
That's one of them too, huh?
yeah, larger fruit. Oh, yeah, and a more organized bush.
Yes,
Which
that's
every time I
it.
said that, I was like.
Right. Fruit, and
Because
let's
their
just put,
bushes run wild.
yeah, let's title the bushes go wild. Yes, okay, that's probably why I didn't remember, because yes, yeah, cut that out. But no, let's just put, it grows
playing
like, let's just put that, we can just say that it has more fuller bushes.
That's
Well,
better.
that's better. The bush is really full.
Organized.
Oh, yeah, okay,
full.
better organized bush.
Easier to pick, there's nothing.
Easier to
about it.
pick.
can't say
There's
it.
a good one. Easier to pick. At least we don't have to discuss this in class. This is all on a test.
Yeah.
Okay. Easier to pick. Okay. Okay. And so that is going to be, that's 2 points. So do they identify what CRISPR is? Do they identify 2 problems, and they should have a larger fruit and easier to pick?
Right, it's easier.
Yeah. And so that's another
I
thing.
don't know how to say it without saying it.
Okay, then they have to explain how this could change through genetic engineering, and they have to, this is where they're gonna have to kind of explain what CRISPR is, like how they use that particular form of engineering to change the genetic makeup of the plant. So they're gonna have to explain that, and that's 2 points, right?
Yep.
Okay,
And then the last 2 points come from explaining how genetic engineering affects natural selection and evolution of the ground
of the ground cherry. So they would need to say that, you know, it's not adapting on its own, it's being told what to, you know, what else?
I mean, it's speeding up evolution.
It's speeding up evolution,
Yeah,
yeah.
speeding up evolution. It's basically taking natural selection out of the process.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Well, it's taking natural selection and selective breeding out of the process.
okay. Does everybody understand on that, what we're, how we're supposed to be grading that? And everybody's on track to give that today, right? Yeah, are you gonna tell?
I'm giving it to 2 of my classes today. One of them I have to give tomorrow because that survey pushed me back yesterday in my homeroom class.
Okay.
So I'm a little behind with them.
I was gonna say something.
But I will have stuff for Ashley on Monday. I
Okay, that's fine.
promise.
Don't worry.
Yeah, because I don't want her coming at me.
Yeah, 'cause, yeah, we have to have that to her.
I definitely will, yep.
And make sure they have like scratch paper too, because they're gonna have to draw Punnett squares.
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of the questions, 1, 2, and 3. Well, they could probably draw 1 Punnett square and
Yeah.
answer all 3 of those
Yeah.
questions
Right.
from that 1 square.
But then when they get to the ones on the pedigree charts, they're gonna probably wanna draw some Punnett squares to try to check their work. I mean, that's how mine have been doing it.
And it's also, make sure that before you give it, they understand heterozygous and homozygous. like,
I've been beaten into their head all
yeah,
week.
heterozygous, and they should know it from last year.
Yeah,
And most of mine do understand it, but there's a few that really just don't understand that if I'm heterozygous, I have two different things, even though I have brown eyes, I have a blue-eyed gene.
yeah.
So,
We spent a lot of time on that, so
Yeah.
they should understand that.
and that's where we could bring in some of the vocabulary they need too for the benchmark, because like gametes and what a gamete is, and they, I mean, I kind of went over that when we taught embryology a little bit, like what a gamete is and how a gamete, and then you have a.
See, I've not said the word gamete
I have
yet
not
this
said,
year.
I
I
said-
have not said sex.
I was
so,
said
yeah.
sex-linked, sex-linked,
yeah,
that's all I've been
exactly.
saying. And then when I saw gamete, I was like, I
Yeah.
remember from last year that a sex cell is a gamete.
Right, I just need to start using that word.
So you might actually have to say the word sperm in your class, but you know, that's because that's a gamete, right? So, okay. So now I guess next we're gonna go to the dead zone about what eutrophication is and maybe how that affects the environment.
Wait, what about adaptation?
Oh yeah, we have
I
really
don't think
adaptation.
we need to spend a whole lot of time on adaptation.
No, what we have, I think on that is fine.
Yeah.
Do y'all agree? I mean, y'all think that what we have on that is fine? I think they kind of
I mean, we've
understand that
done
already.
evolution,
Yeah,
we've gone all around
yeah, I agree.
adaptation, I think.
But-
I think we could do that one little activity that we have on the jigsaw on adaptation, and then move on to eutrophication.
And eutrophication, when I looked at the benchmark though, the one thing that I did see about it is that it really kind of looks a little bit, we can also kind of link that a little bit to, because it really talks about climate impacts. We can go back and talk about, because remember we didn't really get a chance to go into like natural environmental disasters that could happen, like when you talk about floods and hurricanes and things like that. And so we could also kind of tie that into that. I think that would kind of help cover some of that we missed on that one standard earlier in the unit. Because, and the reason why I say that is because it was on the state, remember it was on the state test when they talked about the different, or the practice test. And I'm worried that they're gonna see that on the state test and be like, you know, so I really want them to have an idea of what it is. So when they see it on the state test, it's not gonna be a surprise to them. So, anybody have anything else they would like to? So, is there anything else we have to cover before we give quarter 3 benchmark besides eutrophication?
No.
Okay, well, do we want to set a date for it next week?
Yeah.
Okay, what's a good day for everybody to, because here's what I'd really like to do, and I don't know if everybody's on the same page as me, but before there's not, because, and I noticed, I told Vicki yesterday, even on the quarter 2 benchmark, there really was not a writing that, and I know that's because they're just trying to match the state curriculum, so next year will be different, but there's really not a writing, and there, even on this one, there's not really a writing question where we're gonna have like justify and, you know, all that kind of stuff on the benchmark, which I know they're gonna have to do on the state test. So what I would really like to do, but I wanna check with y'all first, is maybe have a day dedicated before we give the next benchmark to, because we're kind of, I think, ahead of schedule a little bit now, to going over the writing from this task that we're given.
Yeah.
To
Well,
set aside a day and have them look at their answers.
but next week's kind of wonky because we don't have school
That's right.
Tuesday. Wednesday's retake and club picks.
Oh, we're not doing all that
Getting
day.
out.
And then
Friday's casual dress.
Friday might actually be a good day because it's casual dress and maybe taking a benchmark, they'd be a little bit, I don't know, it's up to y'all. Whatever y'all date y'all decide.
I really want to give it Monday.
No, and then we have a 12:30 dismissal. Y'all have a field trip. I would really like to, I was really hoping to give it here, but
16th.
yeah.
I
so
won't be
we-
here
I
that
won't be
day.
here on the 16th.
My brother's getting married that day.
Yeah, I have to be here, so y'all wanna do it on, The 9th?
What, let's put tentative the 9th,
Yeah, we can move it if we
and
have
then
to.
see where we are Wednesday. Cause I have no idea how long this beautification stuff's gonna take.
Right.
I mean,
And if we have to, we could always push it to this Thursday right here, because y'all won't be here this day, so we definitely don't wanna give the benchmark this day, cause they have a field trip that day.
I won't be there Thursday either.
well, it
Well,
doesn't matter, your sub can give it.
Okay.
as
As
long
long as we
as,
all take it on the
as
same.
long as we all
Okay.
take it on the same day, and I think as long as you maybe make sure that that the pair or whatever knows to be in there with your
Right.
sped kids, and make sure that you give her whatever, like I would maybe, I don't know what the modifications are for your kids.
So they have read aloud, but they have it on the computer now, so that
Right.
they've been instructed to sit
Okay.
in the classroom.
Okay, and I mean, I would even, make sure the sub has a copy of it, so she can
Right.
kinda
Right.
look at it and see what it is.
Okay.
And I
Have
think
you
as
put
long
it
as
in
you
the
do that,
system yet?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just wondering,
Yeah, 'cause I
you get
mean,
a sub that,
I-
like Miss Levy, or somebody who's accustomed to being here on a regular basis.
yeah, yeah, someone, because I put it in a while ago.
do
'cause
not
I
get
knew
that
it would
woman
be-
that I had Friday, I do not recommend her.
I gotta see who I had.
I'll
Who
tell
already
you
picked it up.
guys, I'm gonna say where's being
Yeah, she,
filmed.
yeah, she
Yeah, I
came
don't,
to me
I would not recommend her, so I would find somebody,
someone's already picked it up, because I put it in like a
Okay.
month ago.
okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Well,
But
but I think,
that only matters if we give it the 16th though, right?
Or the
no,
15th,
she's
not
giving,
the
she
15th.
won't be here the 15th either.
Rehearsal dinner's 15th, wedding 16th.
Well, we might be able to give it before, let's
Yeah.
just see where we are Wednesday when
Let's
we
just
come
see where we
back,
are
we might
Okay.
be able to give it before. But the week after that, because of like field trip and election day and all
Right.
that, it might be a little bit hard.
Yeah,
So, but I think we could just play it by ear, maybe just put the 9th right now as a tentative date.
okay,
Because I think we're where we need to be, and I don't wanna put it off a long time and then start getting into quarter 4 stuff. And saying,
Right.
okay, well, and then they forgot everything from quarter 3.
right,
So, because quarter 4 is all like energy transfer and thermal energy and all that, so it's not even in the same
Yeah,
type
it's
of,
not even
this is all our
right.
physical science we're getting into next, so.
right,
I really want to give the benchmark before that, but this was a very short turnaround for benchmarks. The second one is heavy.
Yeah.
Like it had a lot of stuff. And then this one is just like maybe 2 standards pretty much. So we'll probably be giving the quarter 4 benchmark very soon to give you, and we'll split it up like that. I mean, y'all like the way this worked?
Yeah.
Like we looked at it and just,
Yes.
okay.
yeah,
Unless
that's
there's
a lot.
something about the Collaboration Center, 8th grade quarter 2 benchmark geologic time scale. How does it say be careful?
I don't know. They may not get that. Did y'all get something from the Collaboration Center about the quarter 2? They probably fixing the quarter 2 thing, but is that what it is?